Yes, indeed. Let me also now quickly join Adit Kothari. Adit Kothari, now clearly, of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also arrived at the summit in Calgary. In fact, he is going to be the voice of the global south at this summit. What do you expect to be the underlying factors in the Prime Minister's address at the outreach session later today, and also how this will weave in with the agenda of the G7, which has been showcased through, of course, the joint declaration that they've issued right now, on particularly emphasizing on the Iran-Israel conflict?
So I think the joint declaration clearly stipulates that Israel definitely has a right to protect itself, while there is mass condemnation about the nuclear program, the uranium enrichment program run by Iran. So I think the G7 countries have converged on that particular aspect, and which is why we see Donald Trump now reconvening his Security Council in the United States, and the kind of tweets that he's been sending out, that Iranians should be leaving Tehran. It indicates that there is more to come on this particular story. I think if we look at it in general, I think what we are looking at from a trajectory perspective, I think is that of escalation, and I think all the world leaders are well aware of it. But from a Prime Minister Modi's perspective, I think he's spoken to both counterparts, and he's reiterated the importance of peace, and he's reiterated the importance of dialogue instead of escalating the action against each other. So it'll be quite difficult to see what kind of a position does India actually take in this scenario, because both have been allies of India in certain aspects. We have a very formidable relation with Israel. At the same time, we have a very healthy relationship with Iran as well. So for India, it's going to be a monkey balancing act, which we'll have to put through. But India's presence at the G7, I think it shows that India is there on the table, demonstrating its diplomatic might. It was Canada which basically invited India to repair the sort of relationships that had nosedived, and hopefully we can build on both the bilateral relations between India and Canada, and also be that key peacemaker in the grand scheme of things, to ensure that the world can go back to some sort of sanity.
Yes, let me quickly also join Professor Nalapat at this point. Professor Nalapat, Donald Trump, of course, has departed early from